Is this the Super Bowl week for silver and gold and platinum investors? It very well could be. I was talking to the chief executive officer of a big bullion company this morning, and he said it feels like this week is Super Bowl week. What was he talking about? Well, we've got Jackson Hole. We're going to talk about that. That has everything to do with the Fed, and we know that the Fed lately has had everything to do with controlling the price of gold and silver. We've got the BRICS meeting, possibly one of the most important little periods we're going through in world history, and we're going to talk about how that can affect the price of silver and gold. People are talking about China going into a depression. Yes, the D word. We're going to cover that. We're even going to talk about maybe one of your favorite things, tomato soup, and what that has directly to do with the price of silver and gold. Boy, it has been a crazy morning. Have you been watching? The gold price is it's like a roller coaster. It was up $15. It was back down negative. I think now it's hovering around even. The price of silver is up 30 cents per ounce. So we'll take that. That's a good thing. But what does all this volatility in the price mean? Do you think maybe there's some monkey business going on with the silver price, with the gold price, with the price of platinum? I think there is. I mentioned this last night during the live stream. Keith Neumeyer, the CEO of First Majestic Silver, he's look, in my opinion, I don't know how you feel about him, but a lot of people have a huge amount of respect for Keith Neumeyer on many levels. Don't forget, Keith Neumeyer is the guy who coined the phrase triple-digit silver, $100 silver. But he said something last night that just blew me away. It really sunk in when it comes to silver. He said that on most days on the COMEX, they trade over 1 billion ounces of silver. Yes, the electronic paper silver, right? The unicorn fart dust silver. Huh? Gold and silver are the only forms of real money. Everything else really is just unicorn fart dust. But nonetheless, 1 billion ounces are traded a day in electronic form. That's way more than the whole mining industry produces over the course of a whole year. About 850 million ounces in one day. They trade more than the miners dig up out of the ground in a whole darn year. So do you think the price of silver is manipulated? There's been extensive research that's been done. Thank you, Kenneth, for the super chat. I appreciate that, my friend. Always appreciated. Never expected. I digress. This week, Super Bowl for the price of silver and gold. All right, let's just talk quickly about Jackson Hole because nobody's talking about it. Have you heard about Jackson Hole? Thank you, Ron McAdams. Thank you. Jackson Hole has been pivotal for the silver and gold price many times over the years. It's a big symposium. Jerome Powell will be speaking. It will have a direct impact. Now, let me just read you a couple of the headlines because we always need to divert back to our friends at the mainstream media. This one comes from CNBC, yes, or CNBS. Maybe some of us like to refer to it. It says, hold on here. Okay, so it's going to be a big week, not just Jackson Hole, but all the Fed governors. We've talked about this, guys, right? What do they do between their meetings? They all go out to fancy lunches and they give speeches, the Fed governors. They squawk, squawk, squawk. But are we at a pivot point? Are we at the point where things are developing in the world that the Fed is going to have to slow down on their hawkish rhetoric? That's the key thing we need to ask ourselves. And we're going to get to the bottom of that in this video. We're going to get to the bottom of all those other Super Bowl of silver and gold related points as well. But here, investors await a series of comments from Fed policymakers, including Chairman Jerome Powell. Yes, that Jerome Powell, our favorite. I've got him in a box over there, ahead of and during the central bank's annual Jackson Hole Symposium. I'm going to be gone a few days this week, guys, because I'm going to be at the Jackson Hole Symposium. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, no, I won't be gone, which begins Thursday. So I'll be gone Thursday. Many are hoping for fresh clues about the outlook for interest rates. Yeah, years past. The Jackson Hole's a big deal. Okay, we're gonna hear from Jerome, and it's gonna give us a total clue as to where the silver price and gold price interest rates, which are going to influence the silver price and gold price. We got 100 thumbs up. I got to stop doing those bells. You know, it's unprofessional. I'm going to lose sponsorships if I keep that up. But today will be the last day I'll ring the bells, okay? When we get to 200 thumbs up, I'll ring the cowbell. And when we get to 300 thumbs up, I will, well, anyway, we'll talk about that if we get there. Since the Fed's last meeting in July, officials have expressed mixed views about whether further interest rate hikes are needed. Guys, the Fed, nothing is controlling the silver and gold price. It's all a bunch of BS. The Chinese laugh at us, but not laugh. Did I curse? Laugh at us? Anyway, they think it's funny that interest rates control the price of silver and gold. But because the bank cabal has such a control over the electronic price on the COMEX of silver and gold, the LBMA, they're no better. They probably actually are worse than London, England. The LBMA and the LME, right? They all cabally, and it's not. It's coming to an end, but nonetheless, for right now, they do have a major impact on the price of silver and gold. So many investors had hoped and expected that the Fed's latest interest rate hike at its July meeting marked the end of its rate hiking campaign. Yeah, they're getting near the end. We're going to talk about the doom. Okay, we're going to do a little doom segment because there's big doom in the U.S. economy. We got to do the doom update. Hey, thank you for the super chat. Missouri Bullion. Hey, Mountain Bullion. That's my friend Brian. Thank you, Brian. Brian and I are going to make a new video next Sunday. You guys loved the last one. Go check out Mountain Bullion Entertainment. It's a new channel, and this guy, he's a good man, and he puts out good content. So go check out Mountain Bullion Entertainment. Nonetheless, we're going to go, doom. We're going to have our little doom segment. Don't worry, because things aren't that good. And the Fed is going to get to a point where not only can they not raise rates anymore, but they can't squawk. I've said it before. It's like they're a bunch of hawks on a power line squawking. That's the period we're going into. Squawk season, where it used to be Boulard here in St. Louis, but he resigned. He's off to pasture now. But he was the biggest hawk of all of them. And I don't know. I said before, maybe there's a reason why he resigned. He didn't look that old to me, you know. Maybe I should have offered him a job here in Ron's basement. He could have been the coffee guy when I remember. Back in the day, I'd ring that bell, and Susie was supposed to bring me coffee, but that didn't work out too well. Okay, let's move on. Jackson Hole is a big deal, guys. Pay attention to what goes on this week at Jackson Hole. But there's even a bigger deal, the BRICS, and we're going to talk about that briefly. We talk about it a lot, but there's always new angles, new ways for us to look at it. So we are going to talk about it. Silver and gold are manipulated. Yes, I'm sick of it. Are you sick of it? Do you get tired of watching the silver price and gold price? I mean, it's just blatant. It's absolutely blatant. I know Keith Neumeyer's sick of it, you know, and Keith talked about the need for a new price discovery mechanism. Thank you for the super. Hey, Jake's Custom Parts. This is for you, bro. You're awesome. At Kevin H. Thank you. But Neumeyer talked about we need a new price discovery mechanism. Right? He's trying to sell more silver directly to you. Did you know that? First Majestic Silver has its own bullion store, but like he said, it's hard to get the silver minted because there aren't a lot of mints. The Republic Mint went out of business, whatever. Keith is trying to get to sell silver directly to the public. Check that out. I like Keith Neumeyer. You know, he's been a warrior for silver for a long time, and I like triple-digit silver. You know, Dan Wilton, who works for Keith founded First Mining Gold. Dan Wilton actually came here to be in the basement. He's the CEO of First Mining Gold. These guys are good quality people. Look, I don't talk, I talk about Pimbex, my sponsor, right? I believe in that company. I've worked with that company before they sponsored me. I was happy with the silver I bought from them. Okay. Same thing with First Mining Gold. Same thing when I talk about Keith Newmeyer. I've only talked to Keith once, never met him in person, met him, had a video, but he's a good guy. He's selling bullion. He mines it out of the ground and he's doing everything that he can to sell it directly to you. Let's support this guy. First Majestic Silver, they've got a bullion store. But he says, and that's I think symbolic of the whole. He's like, it's hard to get it minted. You have to wait months. So but he talks about a new price. Now he didn't say this, but I'll say this about a new price discovery mechanism for silver, and then we're going to move on to the doom. Don't you worry, we got a lot of bad news to talk about. Rated R. New price discovery mechanism. The world is taking care of that, right? This thing called the BRICS, which we're going to talk about doom and BRICS. And I've got both just, I think, fascinating information to share with you. But BRICS is taking care of that new price discovery for silver and gold, right? The Shanghai exchange. There's new exchanges coming on everywhere. The Moscow World Standard. I mean, they've explicitly said we need a new market to determine a real price for silver, gold, and these real assets. They're fed up with the monkey business. I know you're fed up with them. I mean, we all are, I mean, sure, it's great when the price of silver gets hammered down. We can buy more and premiums go down, but we're tired of the monkey business. Right? Right. Okay, let's move on. Doom time. Doom, and this is critical because not only is there doom for us to talk about, danger, bad news, okay, but there's actually 3 bonus accelerants that could make it even worse. That's why, this is not a joking matter. That's why we need to be prepared, okay? Absolutely. But let me just start out with this from Zero Hedge. Here we go. Me and technology. I'm 53. Let's all take a little break. All right. This says, brace yourself, because what they have planned is going to absolutely devastate the United States economy. Guys, but don't forget, I've got 3 bonus kickers that'll triple devastate what's going on. It's a confluence of not good situation for the United States. We know what that'll do for the value. What do you think it'll do for the value of your silver, the value of your gold, the value of your platinum? And if you own rhodium, we just learned about that last night, the value of your rhodium. No, seriously. That's why we invest in the metals, to protect ourselves because of this doom. Here he says, do you remember what happened in 2008? Many people believe that another historic financial disaster is coming and that it will absolutely devastate the United States economy. He says earlier this week, he wrote about Michael Burry, right? The famous guy from The Big Short. He has a $1.6 billion short bet. Now, let me clear one thing up with you real quick. That doesn't mean he bet $1.6 billion. He bought put options, which cost a fraction of that. Still probably, the cat's down here. Oh, either that or I'm hearing things. Just a fraction, but still, that's a massive short bet that the stock market is going to crash. He made all the right moves in 2008, and he fully intends to be proven right once again in 2023. I can't believe there's 400 of us. Can we get to 500? That's a big deal for me. So, I want to get to 500 today. Of course, current conditions definitely resemble 2008 in so many ways. The residential housing market is so dead right now. And commercial real estate prices are plummeting at a very frightening pace, and we know that is doom for the banks. It's doom for it's crazy. What do you think this means? Unfortunately, Officials at the Federal Reserve, that would be our old friend Jerome Powell. Do you guys want me to get Jerome out of the box for you? If you do, type 9 in the comments. I'll keep an eye out, okay? Are making it quite clear that they are not done strangling the economy. So things are getting bad out there, but the Fed is still tightening. For crying out loud, guys, let me just touch on this because this is major, and this does have a huge impact on the metals and a huge, huge impact on the economy and the banks. I looked before I came on. The 10-year bond yield is at 4.35%. I'm sorry, the cat is... Can you hear her? She's... Oh, okay, I'm going to ignore the cat. 4.35%. That's going to kill the banks. Remember, back in March and April, it got to 4.15. We are significantly higher. And in March and April, that caused three of the biggest banks in the history of the United States to go bust. Those three banks, right, that went bust at 4.15% 10-year bond yield combined were more than all of the banks that went bust during the great financial crisis. It feels like they are just like in the freight train. They're barreling at us with a horrible situation coming our way. And we got Jerome, right? Let's get Jerome out. Jerome's in the cab of the engine on the freight train. Where the hell's heck? Sorry, I cursed. Heck is Jerome. Here's Jerome. He's in a box. He's got inflation on one side, recession on the other. And here he is, right? There he is. Hi, Jerome. He's sitting in the cab of the train, barreling towards a recession, and he's got the throttle, and he's giggling like he has his face there. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Before I forget, we got a giveaway. Do you want to own? Do you want to own? Do you want to win this 10-ounce silver Britannia bar? There's a link in the description of all my videos under Pimbex, Pimbex. You can check there if you need spelling. And there's a 2-minute giveaway video. Just go to that video. It's very short, and it tells you what you need to do to get a free entry. On September 3rd, we're going to give that away. And if you need to buy some silver, gold, or platinum, check out Pimbex, right? They're good people, good quality. They have a great reputation. And I've found almost always the absolute best prices. That's it. No more commercials today. Mortgage rates, he goes on to say, mortgage rates jumped above the 7% mark. And mortgage rates is like the highest they've been in 20 years. Guys, we know the credit card situation. We know the rates on the credit cards. I mean, here, at the midpoint of this year, existing home sales were down, almost 19%. Existing home sales right now compared to a year ago, down, right? 20%. That is big. That is major. Housing has become extremely unaffordable. According to Redfin, the percentage of teachers, this is interesting. Are you a teacher? Do you know a teacher? This is interesting. According to Redfin, the percentage of teachers that can afford to buy a home close to the school where they work has fallen to just 12%. So if you're a teacher, you got about a 10% chance that you can buy a house close to the school where you teach. I don't know. It's just crazy. There's so much damage that's been done, and there's more barreling down on us, guys. But apparently, we almost have 200 thumbs up. Let's get to 500 people on the live stream. Please don't leave the live stream. I beg you. I got some interesting info on the big BRICS. Don't forget, they're saying this BRICS thing, that this could be one of the most important weeks in world history. I didn't say that. I heard a leading commentator say that, but nonetheless, we got 200 thumbs up. I ring it around the microphone for all of you who are listening in surround sound. Whew, I need to take a breath. Here we go about the Fed. Most Federal Reserve officials signaled during their July policy setting meeting that high inflation still poses an ongoing threat and could necessitate additional interest rate hikes. So they're going to keep hiking interest rates while we already have the 10-year at 4.35% and banks are getting pummeled. Okay, does that sound like a good idea? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Even if rates stay at current levels, we are headed for extreme pain. What about commercial real estate? We've covered that ad nauseum, right? These banks have all these loans out on commercial real estate. The rates they're going to have to charge are going up. These buildings they loan money out on are now only 60%, 50%, 63%, whatever percent full, right? These people, it's not a good situation. Do officials at the Fed actually believe that our system can handle such high rates? Unless the Fed changes course, the housing market is going. Thank you for the super chat. Sharon, is that Sharon? Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, you love the bell, the 200 bell. Thank you, Sharon. We love all you guys. Your support is awesome. Unless the Fed changes course, the housing market is absolutely going to implode. And I'm sorry for the background noise with the cat. That's Pippy the silver cat, by the way. So when I talk about silver, unfortunately, she sometimes shows up. And today she has decided to show up. And of course, the commercial real estate market is already imploding. Hey guys, thank you for being here. I'll put out a new video every single day for the rest of my life, right? You got a friend for life. You can watch me degrade further over time, but I really want to tell you, it's a big honor that you're here, that you join me in the basement. There's no Ron's basement without you. It's not called RonTube, it's called YouTube. So thank you. If you give this a thumbs up, okay? This thing, thumbs up. That helps us get the word out to more and more people, and it makes me happy, and it helps, and I appreciate it. So if you could give it a thumbs up, that'd be great. You guys want to see Pippy? I don't know where she is. Pippy, where are you? Hold on a second. Pippy the silver cat, coming right up. I just saw her. Where are you, Pippy? 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 Oh, there she is. I got her. I'm coming. Oh, hey. Come here. She is not happy. Every once in a while, I get old Pippy. She likes to come down here and say hello. You want to say hello? Say hello? Do you love silver? Pippy, do you love silver? Yeah, she loves silver. She was brown as a kitten when we got her, and we talked about silver so much that she turned silver. So she's Pippy the silver cat. Coin Shop Chris, another critical component, way more critical than Pippy the silver cat. Neil from Neil Hahn's Dynasty, all of you guys that help. Jake from Jake's Custom Parts, thank you for your help. The moderators, guys, please thank the moderators. As a matter of fact, if you can type 8 is great, and that'll let those guys know that you appreciate all the work they're doing. The most important week in world history. Let that sink in. That's what some people... Oh, wait. We're going to talk about that. I forgot. I promised you doom, but look at all those 8s. Yay! Yes, thank you, guys. Pippy Longstockings, yeah, Pippy does a fraction of what Coin Shop Chris and Neil and Annie and Sharon. I mean, there's so many people that support this channel. If I forgot somebody's name, please don't hold it against me. Like I said, I'm degrading as I get older. Now, I promised you 3 bonus kickers that could make that doom even way worse, all right? So we're comparing now to 2008. And we know what happened in 2008. And we know what happened to the silver and gold price subsequent to the great financial crisis. We're in a similar situation now. But guys, there's 3 big factors that could make things exponentially worse. A confluence of factors. We got to be prepared. This is serious business. Number 1, the financial condition of the United States right now is way worse than it was in 2008. We had a fraction of the debt. We had a fraction of a deficit of what we have now. We are, as a country, just the United States, in a much more fragile condition, right? Delicate, fragile. And this is a great analogy, like we talked about last night. When things are delicate and fragile, it's like a bubble. Like a bubble, if you blow bubbles with your kids, I'm sure you've blown bubbles. Think about the last time you blew a bubble, right? Okay? With soap, whatever, however you did it. Those bubbles, they're beautiful, right? They're like a mirage, but they're fragile. When they pop, poof, they're gone quickly. In the U.S. economy, the U.S. Fiscal situation is very fragile. So that's different right now, but there's more that's different. And let's just talk about debt real quick. Let's go back to that fragility. We got government debt, but we also have corporate debt that is exponentially higher, and we have individual debt that is exponentially higher. Okay, enough on that. Number two, we have the world geopolitical situation, which is, some people are saying we're coming into a week that could be one of the most important in world history. Okay, that's different. Think in 2008, the U.S. was still the big hegemony power. Now the world is, so the U.S. is fragile, number one, and the world is changing like we haven't experienced in our lifetimes. I can confidently say that. I don't think any of us have been in a period where the world is changing like it is right now. And the third is China. You got to remember, the United States, number one economy in the world. China, number two economy in the world. In China's economy, people are saying, now you're hearing the D word, that they might be moving towards a depression. I mean, what does that tell us? All this is going on, not as bad as 2008 type scenario, but we've got these three other negative situations. It's like this. It's like your house is on fire, right? That's what's going on right now compared to 2008. Your house is on fire. But unfortunately, that happened at a time where there's a 40-mile-per-hour windstorm outside. And any firefighter will tell you it's exponentially harder to fight a fire with a 40-mile-per-hour wind. And on top of that, there's a water main break around the corner from your house, so the water pressure is down to 20 or 30% of what. That's the situation we're in. We'll see how it plays out. I could be wrong. I'm always wrong on a regular basis. All right, but it sure feels dicey to me right now. Please, oh man, we got 200. You know what? One last time, if we get the 300 thumbs up, and it helps when you guys give thumbs up. It helps the video. It helps the channel. It helps me. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Don't you like to make people feel good? Give this a thumbs up. And if we get to 300 one last time, yes, I'll ring the old silver bell with my nose. Okay, one more time. So all that's going on. Let's talk about BRICS. All right, that's this week. That starts tomorrow, August 22nd. Wow, look at all those thumbs up. Thank you, guys. That is awesome. They're saying it's why could it be the most important week? I heard a leading commentator say in world history, okay? Goldman Sachs is telling us that by 2050, the BRICS countries, yes, those countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, you better memorize that, will dominate the world economy. Okay, it's a rebalance of the world order. But what does that mean when we hear, it's a rebalance of the world order? And what does it mean for the silver price, gold price, and platinum price? Because that's what we like. That's the glue that bonds you and I, the basement dwellers, together. What does that mean? They're talking about oil, the lifeblood of the world. The world economy runs on oil. The oil market is like exponentially bigger than any other market, including gold, and way exponentially bigger than silver. The oil market, the currency markets, right? We're hearing about a common currency that they want to develop, and possibly that it'll be backed by gold. Okay, that's real. Trade is getting reordered throughout the world. Military, okay? Right? When you add up the number of soldiers in the Chinese and the Indian military alone, unless I'm looking at bad data, it makes the size of our military from a troops perspective look rather small. I'll leave it at that. And technology. Things are changing. The BRICS is a big deal. And guess what? Guess what? Did you notice something? Unless he forgot to open his mail, old Joe, the one, the Bidenomics, it's working. That's what he likes to say. It's working so great. Just ask any of your middle-class friends about how much Bidenomics is working. It's working. Well, that guy, he's not invited, right? France, not invited. England, not invited. Interesting. So we've got major change going on. By the way, the BRICS countries absolutely love silver and gold and platinum for that matter. Most of the platinum is produced in BRICS countries. You can talk to Neil Hahn from Neil Hahn's dynasty. He is the platinum guru, okay? But guys, they love their precious metals. Their economies are expanding. Their middle classes are expanding. Their love of gold and silver is expanding. What do you think that'll mean for the value of the silver, gold, and platinum that you own? It might just also be expanding, right? All right, I digress. This is one of the greatest threats to the United States hegemony that we've faced in decades, okay? The top subject at the BRICS meeting is going to be, one of the top subjects is going to be, you guessed it, right? The US dollar, de-dollarization. And we're at a tipping point. And thank you, Craig Edmonds. Why can't the value go up unless doom stuff happens? That's a great question, Craig, and I'll address that after I get done with the doom. Because we do want to have our heads out of the sand about what's going on. All this talk, there's this possibility of a gold-backed currency. Somebody even, I forget his name, but one of these gurus said, why don't they just use gold instead of trying to make a currency? And we could see that. They're talking about the potential for a gold-backed token. We've talked about that, right? All this is good for the price of silver, gold, and platinum. 3.2 billion people in the BRICS. Did you know that? 3.2 billion people. That's 10 times the number of people that live in the United States, right? And they're growing, all right? I've heard people talk, now that's just the BRICS. There's like 19 countries that have explicitly said they want to join BRICS. Somebody said 41 countries that on one level or another have said that they're interested in joining BRICS. So we've got a massive expansion, right? Saudi Arabia. It's just absolutely crazy. If all those countries that have kind of talked about possibly joining were to join BRICS, it could represent, I've heard numbers as high as 85% of the world's population could somehow either be directly or indirectly, I guess, affiliated with the BRICS country. They've got their own bank, the BRICS Development Bank. Right now, BRICS represent 31% of the world's economy. And guys, where it really gets scary is technology. And China has explicitly said they want to be the leader in artificial intelligence. And there's some people that are saying they're already beginning to leave us in the dust. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh, we almost have 300 thumbs up. We have 299. I said I'd do it one more time. Okay, we got it. We got 300 thumbs up. What the heck? I'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. I hope my sponsors understand that's been a long-standing tradition here in Ron's Basement, and the community loves it. Okay, so the BRICS situation is an interesting scenario, guys. Will it be? What do you think? Let's ask the community, and then we're going to go back to Craig's question. Do we have to have gloom and doom? Hey, Pat, Mr. Pat Hollins here from the Missouri Freedom Initiative. Good to see you, Pat. Pat, what time is it? Pat, could I have 5 minutes of your time? Ringflation, that's right. I want to get your take on BRICS. If you can sum it up in 5 minutes, Pat, I can call you. I don't know. Can I call Pat? I don't know. Yeah, I think I can. Let me know, Pat. Okay. Anyway, do you think yes, you, do you think that that this week could shape up to be the biggest week in the history? This guy says in the history, said the most important week in world history. Is it that big of a deal? Yes or no? Hey, Lance, we love you. Wow, man, silver's up 2%. Thank you, Lance. Can we get to 500 people in this? I'm trying to see if I can call our friend Pat Holland. Let's just try. Let's see. You never know what's going to happen here. Pat Holland, guys, is the leader, Missouri Freedom Initiative. He's a leader in helping to forward legislation on a state-by-state basis in the United States to help citizens regain their right to use gold and silver as legal tender, as was outlined in the United States Constitution. He's been focused on Missouri. He's a champion. He's well-known. He's a good man. And let me see if I can figure out if I can call him here real quick and say hi to Pat. Oh, boy. Bear with me. Sorry, guys. I wasn't prepared for this. I don't know if I can do it. Where is it? There it is. Let's see if we can get Pat. Stay with us. Stay with us. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. And let's see. We're going to try. Hold on. He may not be able to answer. It's ringing. It's ringing.
Hey, is this Ron?
Hey, Pat, it's Ron.
Hey there, buddy.
Can you talk for...
Hopefully everyone can hear okay.
Yeah, I bet. Hey, guys, let us know if you can hear Pat okay, if it's too loud or too soft. But I think that they can hear you, Mr. Holland. Do you have 5 minutes to give us your perspective on what people are saying could be one of the biggest weeks in world history? I know this is all spontaneous. Thank you, Pat. And on behalf of everyone in the live stream, thanks for joining us.
You bet, no problem. Now, as far as the BRICS go, I think what their main concern right now is to start setting up a framework or a construct for basically the payment system, which they have in place, and basically getting the other currencies of the world on it, excluding the dollar. I think that's the main point of the BRICS meeting. But will it be implemented this month? No, I don't think it will. But I do think it's coming in 2024. But this is you hear about the warning shot across the bow. Trust me, there's a reason why the Fed's meeting tomorrow. It's because the BRICS are meeting. You know, it's almost like they're opposing forces. So you had the Legion of Doom and the Justice League when we were kids, Ron. Remember on Super Friends Saturday morning?
Yep.
Okay.
I still watch that on Saturday morning, Pat.
Go ahead.
I said I still watch it. I was joking. I said I still watch that on Saturday morning.
Gotcha. Well, the reason I bring it up that way is because, unfortunately, the Federal Reserve is the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
We're not the good guys. We use the dollar in very bad ways around the world. We unfortunately have weaponized the dollar. And the entire world is being held hostage by the dollar. That's the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these countries are tired of it. Absolutely tired of it. All the sanctions we put on Russia, and they're going to sit there and keep taking that decade after decade, when, basically we don't really have the right to do a lot of this stuff. So taking Russia off the SWIFT system is how the BRICS actually, they envisioned even doing it in the first place. So when you take countries off of SWIFT, you deny them access to the dollar. And then they have a really tough time doing international trade. Mm-hmm. So we've been doing this consistently to Russia for a long time. But China is not real happy with us either. So this is born out of these nations being frustrated with the Federal Reserve and the dollar being weaponized against their currencies, against their economies, and indeed against their very nations.
Can I ask you a question? But Saudi Arabia loves us, right? Saudi Arabia, they love us, don't they?
They used to love us when Henry Kissinger went out there in 1973, and they formed OPEC based on a framework that was put together by Kissinger.
Yeah, right.
However, However, Saudi Arabia, we've been blaming them for 9/11.
Yeah.
And then ever since we started doing that, basically they've been pretty upset with us. But they are taking other currencies now. This has been widely reported. There was even a single transaction that I'm aware of that happened, I think, in January or December of last year that was actually gold-based.
Yeah.
They were actually taking gold for oil. They're not supposed to do that. Remember now, our agreement with Saudi Arabia is you only take dollars for oil, and we will provide military protection for your nation.
Right. And let me ask you this question. You brought up Henry Kissinger. Does it make your antenna stand up or your spidey sense, however you want to say it, go off when, like, it seems like in the last 2 weeks, all we've heard is doom and gloom about the Chinese economy all of a sudden, right before this big BRICS meeting that the Western media is just feeding. And did you find it strange that we sent our two? I mean, look, we're all going to get old, so I'm not putting anybody down. We're all getting older, but we sent like two of our best senior citizens to China. What, in the last 6 weeks? We sent Janet Yellen went to China and ate an unfortunate mushroom dish, but that's a different story. And we sent isn't Kissinger over 100 years old, and we sent him to China as well.
That's right. So yeah, he's a favorite.
Yeah.
But he represents, a bunch of the elite. Basically, Henry Kissinger, of course, is in the CFR, Council on Foreign Relations Trilateral Commission. He's in Bilderberg. I mean, he's in all of these secret organizations. And he kind of represents the elites when he goes and negotiates in other countries. He does not represent the United States of America. He represents the elites and their corporations.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Thank you, Pat. I really appreciate you coming on. I have to tell you some good news. When you were on the live stream with me, we just hit a new world record for Ron's Basement. We have 512 people in the basement with us right now, and you have always been a fan favorite. And I mentioned before you came on, you've worked tirelessly to help forward this legal tender legislation, specifically in the state of Missouri, but I know you helped out with a number of states as well. Do you think next year we could see even more states that adopt legislation to allow their citizens to use or to regain their constitutional right to use gold and silver as legal tender?
Well, I certainly hope so, because I'm actually working on that even during the summer.
Okay.
I've had lots of distractions, lots of things that I had to take care of otherwise, but I've never stopped working towards that goal, and I'm still working with other states.
Great.
And hopefully we'll have a better network in other states. We had a great network in Missouri, but the other states need some love, too, to get that stuff across the finish line. I want to thank you for your earlier compliment that you had 500 viewers with me on, but don't underestimate the appeal of the red shirt.
Could you do me a favor and explain that to Susie, because she's threatening legal action against me if I don't change the red shirt.
Oh my gosh, not another indictment. We've been hearing too much about that lately. The red shirt, Susie, must stay. It is a fan favorite.
That's right.
It is as much Ron's Basement as the Silver and Gold Bears.
I was going to say, Smitty the Silver Bear says hi to you, Pat. Pat, I'm going to look forward to having you on again. And why don't we shoot for next week for you and I to make a kind of a feature video together, because everybody asks about you on the channel, and we really appreciate
no problem.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Pat.
You're welcome, Ron.
Right.
And hello to everyone. Thank you very much for putting up with me.
Oh, no, you're the best. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Ron.
Right, bye-bye. Wow, there we have it. Pat Holland, what a great guy. What an insightful individual. I'm going to tell you one thing Pat taught me that I'd never, Bald Guy Money came up with this idea that I think is brilliant about why the central banks won't confiscate gold. But Pat Holland taught me something that applies to us, silver and gold investors. Nominal confusion, right? That's why we still look at this, guys, and think it has value. It's nominal confusion. And what he means by that, imagine that's a $100 bill, right? If I'd flashed that on the screen in front of you, let's say 30 years ago, I would have been 23 years old, slightly less better looking than I am now. Nonetheless, it would have been a $100 bill. Your eyes would light up, right? If you see a $100 bill on the ground now, your eyes light up, just like they would have 30 years ago. It's nominal, right? It's nominal confusion, meaning, but the value of that dollar now, as opposed to 30 years ago, is way different. And Pat taught me that, and it's a key, probably one of my top 10 key things that I think we need to consider when we examine why is it that we hold gold? Why is it that we hold silver? Okay, it's one of the key deals. Oh gosh, we're going to get to 400 thumbs up. Remember, I said I'm never going to do the bell with my nose again. Hey guys. Thank you. This has been awesome. I appreciate you being here. You are the most important part of Ron's Basement. Let's buckle up for a fun week, and I'll see you soon.